I think there's two strong areas to answer that question. I think, first of all, we have embraced this idea that we can get personalised recommendations, from our, in particular from our mobile devices, that we're able to log in at places and see what other people have thought, or if we're going on a holiday, we can look at the locations that we're going to, we can get advice on all that sort of stuff, and obviously part of that is likely to be buying a product or a service. And so that takes you through to the other side of that, which is obviously business has seen the opportunity to sell those products and services to you, and that big data is needed to drive that stuff through. So so I think there's those two things together, which both feed each other, are going to be why big data is such an important topic. Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, from today's presentations, and particularly from Robin's presentation regarding Amazon Web Services, which was really interesting, and I hadn't really appreciated the scale and the low cost of those things. And I think that to have that enabler there to allow you to collect and now process all that data so efficiently and at such a low cost, I think that is really opening up that landscape for doing things with big data. I mean, yeah, sure, we've had forerunners to big data, which I suppose the Tesco Club Card experience is probably one of those. You wouldn't necessarily have classed that as big data a few years ago. Now you think, oh yeah, hang on, maybe that is. The way that they've embraced that, the way that's worked, and the way that we as a customers of Tesco have then gone back and said, yeah, I like that idea. I don't find it intrusive. It's been really helpful to me. I think that has helped enable that and bring that on. Yeah. There is clearly a good deal of hype around it. Yeah, without doubt, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's so many people are talking about it. People find it an exciting thing to talk about because of all the opportunities now. We just talked very briefly today about, mapping the cosmos and predicting crime and where it's going to take place. And so it's a fantastically exciting thing to talk about. So is it hype? Are we really going to do these things? Well, some of those things are obviously starting to happen in practice, and I think that stat that I had at the end of the presentation, which was that there's really only sort of 6% of businesses that have really rolled out anything to do with big data, and that's just business, not organisations as a whole. I think perhaps we're in the typical Gartner hype cycle at the moment, and we're going to see this sort of consolidate into something more solid and action over time. So I don't think it's all hype. And as far as there being some great real world examples of what's out there, it's a bit boring, and Roy talked about it a lot today because we're all in it, and that's got to be Amazon. I mean, it's just been phenomenally successful at doing what they're doing. I mean, it has transformed the way that you think about buying a book. Interestingly, without necessarily destroying the existing high street, brick side of the market. But that's been such a huge success, and one that I embrace and like, even if it irritates me slightly that it tries to predict what I might like to read or buy. Yeah, but still very good indeed. What's going to happen in the market over the next 3 years? The rest of that big percentage, the other people outside of that 6%, are going to start to realise that there is potential there for them to make money, reduce costs, whatever that is. And I think we're going to see our clients starting to embrace the projects that they've been putting off more, that they're going to start to come up, and they're going to be thinking about, well, what does this really mean, and how can we really leverage this? Where can we go with it? I think for my clients, which are very specifically in lots of different sectors, don't necessarily fit that well with big data, but they are all data collectors in their own right, and they probably just haven't really sat down and thought about, well, what else could we do with the data that we're collecting as part of our current BAU. Yeah, okay. They've got to ask themselves some big questions about what they want out of this. Yes, and maybe it won't suit all people, all customers. Maybe they don't. Maybe they haven't got. Maybe big data and the personalised data in the mobile world is not going to affect them. But you feel that that can that be true? Are people, all organisations going to be, say, oh, that's not really for us? I don't know. Most of these people are doing something with our data in some form or another. I think they have to sit down and think about it. It's a bit unfortunate, it crosses over really with my last answer. Got to sit down and think about what could they do with that information. Is there a commercial advantage to them? Or is there a way that they could use that information better to streamline their business or reduce costs or, find another new line of business for them to go on to exploit that data? And I think those are quite difficult questions for them to ask because they're very much, against his business as usual. It's right in front of my face today and I've got some special projects coming along. And to think about that, they have to take some time out and, put some specific effort into trying to think what value is there.